Constantly shifting through the time-space continuum, Metron's three disciples observe the universe from the Mobius Couch.
If everybody had an ocean across the USA, then everybody'd be surfing like California. You'd see them wearing their baggies, Horace sandals too, a bushy blonde hairdo, surfing on the Mobius Couch. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mobius Couch, America's #1 podcast dedicated to debunking the myth of boofing. You cannot ingest protein through your butt. There is no point to shoving whey protein up your butt, folks.
There's so much to say about this.
We've been talking about this
So
for years. For years. It does not work. The only thing to do is do those little milkshakes. Do those little milkshakes.
I really disagree with you, Al.
I don't
I
think
know
you
somebody
realize how much of a gay sex innuendo joke you just made, but maybe you do. I don't know.
Anyway, I think we're on the wrong settings.
Are we on the wrong dimension? Are you sure?
I think we're on the wrong
dials. Let me look. Let me look at the dial.
You are right. It doesn't work. It doesn't work either.
The Mobius Couch, where we talk about comic books.
Comics.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat today because we're talking about a very popular property, and that's the X-Men, Marvel, a big Marvel group.
All new X-Men, Al.
Today,
all new.
Yeah, more specifically, we're going to be talking about Brian Michael Bendis, BMB, friend of the podcast, BMB, the notorious BMB. His run on All New X-Men, which brought the original X-Men through time to the modern times.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about today. Art, of course, by Stuart Immonen. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be chatting about that.
Specifically, issues 9 through 14, which is kind of a random selection, but that's because we decided to read some stuff that we actually wanted to reread. And Patrick suggested these issues.
I kind of chose this, and also like we usually start with like the first 6 issues of a run, which aren't always the most.
They're very introductory sometimes, you know. I just
want to we'll get into it, but the main reason I chose this is because I just loved Jean Grey just ripping Wanda apart about what she did on.
That's my favorite scene. Yeah,
it's my favorite part about this run that we read, or this bit of the run that we read.
We also typically, I think, throughout most of the Mobius Couch, we tend to lean towards doing introductory arcs of basically everything. I know we did Legion Lost, which was, but
unless we cover like the whole thing or something.
Sometimes we've done non-intro, but usually we do, 1 through 6 or 1 through 5. So we thought we'd
at least to start. Like we've revisited Justice League a couple of times.
But we just figured we'd do something a little different and just kind of start in the middle.
I did read this back in the day. Al, did you read this back in the day?
Nope.
All right, so I reread issues 1 through 5, and I skimmed 7 and 8, 6, 7, and 8. Because they were like, or maybe just 7 and 8. I don't remember. Anyway, they're not drawn by Immonen, so I was just like, I'm bored. I skimmed them a little bit. And it's really just Cyclops having a little adventure by himself for a second. So it wasn't like a big deal. But like I remember reading the first 6-ish issues of this and really enjoying it, but for whatever reason, probably money, I just was like, I can't buy an X-Men book right now, and I stopped reading it. But I had fun with this. This is a fun read. I guess that's my overall take.
Okay.
I had fun with it. It's a fun read. What do you guys think?
My overall take, I didn't read it when it came out. I read it a few years ago, and I read it in tandem with the Brian Michael Bendis was writing this, and he was also writing Uncanny X-Men at the same time. And the setup of this is that this takes place after House of M, after Avengers vs. X-Men, where the Phoenix comes back to Earth, and the X-Men believe the Phoenix will reignite the X gene and create more mutants, and the Avengers see it as a threat and want to kill it, and it leads to a big conflict. And
it's Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah. So Iron Man tries to kill the Phoenix. It splits the Phoenix into 5 different things. It goes into Colossus, Magic, Emma, Cyclops, and Namor. It eventually all goes into Cyclops. He loses his mind and kills Professor X. But then what happens is the Phoenix does reignite the X gene, and new mutants are being born. But now Cyclops, not necessarily being born, but I guess their powers are, coming into
awakening.
Well,
yeah, they're awakening.
So Cyclops, for whatever reason, they cut a lot of Jean Grey on slack with her craziness when she's Phoenix.
It's a slow restart of like the mutants popping up again after they were all decimated in House of M.
Is that
House of M was not kind to mutants.
No.
Yeah. So this was kind of the resurgence of the mutants after House of M. Cyclops is labeled as a terrorist. It's when he goes to his, very infamous the X visor. And he's got no patience. He's only out to protect new mutants. He doesn't give a fuck about the humans anymore. And he's teamed up with Magneto. So that's what's happening in the Uncanny books.
He's given up the goal of humans and mutants living together in peace. Right. And he just wants to protect mutants now. He doesn't care about Xavier's original dream. He's dropped it.
And we'll get into it, but all the other X-Men blame Cyclops for killing Professor X, and they think he's a terrorist, and they're against him. And so Beast has, for whatever fucking reason, thought bringing the original 5 X-Men through the time stream to the present day is gonna wake Cyclops up and return him to the right.
See how they used to be. I mean, it's a solid plan.
I mean, is it though? Messing with the entire time stream and
so and we'll get into it, but Beast has his reasons. They're all bad.
He's awful.
They're all bad. So, in terms of Bendis writing this run, though, what a fun idea! A weird fun idea. I just love it. It's such a fun read.
It's New X-Men and Astonishing X-Men we've covered. I would still say they're probably my top 2 favorite X-Men. I enjoyed Krakoa, but this is a close third place for me. I thought Bendis did a great job.
Where does Power of X fall on that, or whatever, or that run? Oh, I guess that's Krakoa, though, right?
Yeah, that's kind of Krakoa.
That was
I would say this
exposition for Krakoa. Yeah,
I would say these 2 books I would place above the Krakoa stuff overall as isolated stories, because Krakoa did kind of get out of control a little bit. But I loved this fucking book, and I loved seeing the young X-Men, because I didn't read the X-Men when they were teenagers. These characters were I just loved it. It was adorable to see their interactions with the older X-Men. I think Bendis's dialogue is great, is as good as it's ever been, from Daredevil to Spider-Man.
I agree. He can kind of be not great sometimes with dialogue when he's stretched thin and writing 100 books, but that wasn't the case right now, I think, for this. So this was good old Bendis, this is classic witty dialogue Bendis, and I loved it.
And then I can't pronounce his last name. Immonen. I love his art, and the colorist was Von Gra Badger, and I also thought the colors was great.
Solid artwork, solid writing. Al, what were your thoughts?
I wasn't a huge fan, but a little bit of background. So actually, Brian Michael Bendis came up with this. They apparently had a retreat to discuss Avengers versus X-Men. Before that came out, they had a Marvel retreat to plan that out.
Island of some sort, was it?
It was on an island called it was a mutant island named Krakoa. But while they were planning for that is when he had this idea of having the original X-Men come forward in time and be kind of come face to face with who they've become. And Bendis's quote on that is, I'm a big fan of these kinds of stories, Pleasantville or Peggy Sue Got Married, where a character faces the truth about themselves and what their life can mean versus what it does mean, end quote. So I thought that was kind of interesting that he just sort of wanted to go back to the more innocent initial X-Men run, take those characters and have them come face to face with basically, I know that biographical in comic timelines or whatever, 15 years really, but in actual real life, it's been 60 years of world building and events that we've come across.
Tons of stories, yeah.
So I think it is kind of an interesting concept of taking those youthful, innocent versions and having them see because it's the meta version is the characters are seeing what they've become, but then the meta angle is 60s Silver Age comic books seeing what comic books have become and what themes they've come across. So I thought that was kind of a cool idea. Having said that, I don't think I can do mainline comics anymore. I just don't get any joy out of reading X-Men number 14 through 23. It just means nothing to me, and I don't enjoy it. So I think that's more of a personal note for me. I agree.
Well, yeah,
I
but that's
agree.
a
Like
big
the
part of
Bendis
their show.
dialogue. But I agree. The Bendis dialogue was like hit for a lot of it. Especially, I love Bobby. Bobby was just
Bobby
a
D.
joy. Bobby
Dude,
D
his
was a
expression,
joy.
almost
And I
everything out of
mean-
his mouth is fantastic.
And I mean past Bobby Drake, the
Yes.
snowy,
Yeah, past
not
Bobby D.
ice, not spiky.
Current
ice,
Bobby
but
D is
snowy,
horrible.
snowy Bobby D. He was great. The art was good too. I mean, it wasn't hyper stylized or anything like that, but it was just good contemporary comic art. It was just great.
Yeah.
I mean, good character features, expressions. It was just solid art. So
I think that's what Immonen is to me. Just
Yeah.
solid, just all around, like poses, expressions. He draws every character interesting. His own little style to things. Like,
yeah, but to some degree, it just felt to me like the equivalent of like an Apple Plus show, where it's like great production value, decent dialogue and writing, but it just didn't really grip me and didn't hold me for like, it just, I don't know. But also the arc we read was about Mystique on a crime spree. I don't know. I feel like it was setting stuff up that maybe comes to fruition later, but these specific 6 issues were just sort of, again, I just don't think I can do mainline comics like this anymore. It's just not for me.
I get that
I just don't
perspective.
get joy out of it. Yeah.
I reread issues. Well, I said that already. I reread issues 1 through 5. So like, I was like, I don't want to just jump in at issue 9. I know that was our plan and everything, but I was like, I remember this ish, but not really. And I kind of like read. I started to read past our arc, but I was also like, well, I don't want to read too far because then I'll kind of forget what we were reading. We're supposed to be covering. Yeah. So I was like, but I did read like some build up to it. So maybe that's why I was like enjoying it a little bit more, because I watched the first little burst of them coming on the scene, and then I got to read some fun stuff.
And there were moments that I thought were very good, and I'm still digesting some of it, and we'll get to it in more detail later. But for example, Jean Grey, the Phoenix Force, who herself has caused crossover events, criticizing Wanda for causing a crossover event, I thought was really interesting, and I'm still not quite sure what Bendis was going at there, because there's like a level of hypocrisy that past Jean wasn't aware of that she was bringing into it. But I don't, and especially because especially because the issue after she calls out Wanda begins with her turning into the Phoenix Force. So I'm still digesting what Bendis was maybe trying to get at.
Well, here's what's going on with
that.
With Jean is that when she's brought forward, we learn that all she could do back in the day was telekinesis. She didn't have telepathy. And so when they bring her forward, you find out that Professor X has been like suffocating her telepathy, blocking it. So when she's brought forward, her telepathy goes out of control.
Yeah.
And, so
and also that's very Professor X. He's a very manipulative
piece of
shit.
He's a piece of shit. I've always said that. I'll stand by it to this day.
Hashtag Cyclops was right. But
hashtag better as a martyr. Right. Hashtag Cyclops was right.
He was right. He was fucking right. Yeah. But anyways, Jean's a 16-year-old. She's like super powerful, and she doesn't know what she's doing. Like her powers are just kind of going out of control.
A lot of Patty. Yeah. Did you get a lot of? Did you get some Saturn girly vibes from what was going on with how she was using her powers?
I mean, she's Saturn girl. I'll give it past to. Jean was. We'll start off in this first issue. What happens in the issue before this is that Warren Angel like freaks out and he's like, we shouldn't be here. He tries to go back to the past himself, and Jean just like takes control of his mind and is like, no, you're not.
So he's like, I'm leaving now. And then and he's like, never mind, I'm good. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And then they turn around and Jean's like, I did that, kind of thing. And you're like, oh shit. And then she just coldly walks out of the room like, everything's fine now. He's going to be fine. He's happy. He's happy now we're here. And you're like, oh, shit, this is fucked up.
One thing that, like, adult Jean Grey, like, starting a new X-Men, they'd always talk about her temper. And, like, I've never really seen, like, Jean's temper. And they really play into, like, she is a fucking temper, man. She's kind of out of control in several scenes.
It's kind of awesome, though.
But, let's get into that. Let's just table this until we get to that stuff, because let's start in on issue 9.
Issue number 9. I mean, Kitty is taking charge of the team in terms of their training and like kind of.
Professor Kitty.
Hence your name, Professor Kitty.
Yeah.
But then also Wolverine kind of like takes them out on little missions and stuff too with Kitty. But like, you know, Kitty's in
Well,
charge
also-
of like making sure the kids don't kill themselves in the future timeline, so that
Right.
when they do eventually go to the past, you know, they're still alive. So like they don't
Yeah.
cause a fucking problem. But
And this initial scene led to my first oh, he's wonderful moment with Iceman, because they had this whole Danger Room experience where they predictably fail against Danger Room Sentinels, and Kitty says, you know, you guys have to train more. And Bobby Drake makes the comment of like, well, our Danger Room in the 60s was hula hoops and like a bouncy ball. This
there's
is
a big red ball that flew
this
through
is
the
way
air.
more serious. Yeah. He said, yeah, seriously, our Danger Room is like a big red ball that flies at us really fast, some hoops, and this is really elaborate.
Yeah.
So that was a great comment, because the modern Danger Room is, of course, like
It's like virtual
holographic,
reality,
whatever.
holographic,
Yeah,
hard
it's
holograms
crazy.
or whatever. I like he's
Yeah.
like, they make mutant hunting robots, and she's like, and Kitty's like, they do, and he's like, specifically to hunt mutants. He's just like, I'm sorry, can you? And she's like, specifically, and then Angel's like, who was they? And she's like, everybody.
I also an art
so
note
good.
about this first scene that I liked, and I don't know if it was intentional or just me reading too much into it, but in this scene here, right after they turn off the holograms, I like how Jean Grey is standing and Cyclops is bowled over in like a traditional Jean Grey like pose of helplessness. And I sort of like the
So,
role reversal there that they did.
That is
in
a
this,
funny art
it
note,
is a roll
yeah.
rose, but in this scene, it's the whole team like falls apart because they're not listening to Cyclops, and then like, you know, and Bobby goes to save Professor Kitty because like she's in danger, and then he's not paying attention. No one's paying attention to Cyclops' orders, and it all falls apart. So he ends up on the ground like a dummy while Jean Grey did a lot of work. I guess I mean, I don't know. Again, this is really fun to me. I really
Also,
like
the
all
other
the stuff with the old
the-
X-Men being in the
I
present.
love
just
yeah.
enjoy it. It's enjoyable.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like the premise. Beast tells the original X-Men when they come back. Look at that cake on that 16-year-old.
Look at that
16-year-old
cake on young
Scott.
Cyclops. Just look at that.
It's actually kind of frumpy, really. But...
He's thinking about Mystique.
Go ahead, Pat. Sorry, I interrupted your point by.
Oh no! Well,
Cyclops,
Beast
but-
when they show up, Beast is like, "You guys, adult Cyclops is a terrorist, and he's gonna commit a mutant genocide."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then that's when Angel's like, "What the fuck are we doing?" He goes, "What does this have to do with anything?" He
Yeah.
goes, "I thought we were here because you guys were scared that Cyclops was going to commit a mutant genocide." And Kitty goes, "Is that what Henry told you was gonna happen?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, those exact
So I mean,
words."
let's talk about that for a second. Like Beast's motive. So Beast was dying of like a third mutation or whatever. You know, like he's mutated like quite a few times into Tiger Beast, and you know,
Beast he's had a rough arc
Astonishing and
of
yeah, he's had a lot.
mutations
So
and mutations.
currently,
Yeah.
his whatever he did to himself back in the day to get the furriness of Beast going on, like when he was experimenting on himself back in the day, that started causing this transformation into. Do you guys remember that Beast used to be able to switch back and forth between human and furry? Did you know that?
I don't remember. I did not know that.
He used to like Beast
he could
out
do
and be
that
like, "Go."
in the comic.
He used to be like, yeah. He used to be like a human. Human. He'd be like pink-skinned Caucasian Beast, and then they'd go fight or whatever, and he would
Beast
like
out.
beast out a little.
I thought they made that up. I thought they made that up for the.
No, he used to go back and forth. I think this is like
First
back in the
class
day of
movies.
like late 80s X
Okay.
Factor stuff, maybe. I can't really remember. But when it first started happening with blue fur stuff, he was going back and forth a lot. And it was mostly his doing, I think. Like he was experimenting on himself or something. And then long story short, so he's dying in the present day, and then when they get to the future, young Beast helps old Beast cure himself. So like half of his reasoning for doing this is like, I'm gonna die tomorrow, so I can't die knowing that Cyclops is gonna go down this dark path. And then when he's healed, he's just like, "Oh, you guys are fine. just stay in the future." Like he like completely drops the ball with it. It's so insane. Like he's dying, and he does this desperate thing to get Cyclops back on the right track because he's not going to be there to like help Cyclops in the future. And then once he is there to help Cyclops in the future and he's okay, like he doesn't immediately send them back in time. He just lets them hang out.
Joe, a quick points from the Reddit thread. When did Beast go from weird guy to furry in the comics?
Mm-hmm.
So he never had the ability to switch back and forth, but there was a period where he had a rubber mask and put binders on that he would then take off to be furry Beast. Yeah. He would like hide the fur and put a rubber mask on, but then take it off and be furry Beast.
That sounds insane.
I'm just imagining.
That's probably what I remember.
But he didn't have the ability to like Hulk out into Beast. He would just take the rubber mask off.
I don't know what
be Beast.
Rubber mask. That's
yeah.
insane.
I'm literally.
That's what I'm remembering.
But it was self-experimentation that got him.
Yeah, it was self. I knew that part. Was
yeah.
All right.
I'm imagining that. I think you should leave Skid where he dresses up as that.
I don't even want to be here anymore. What's wrong?
I don't want to be around anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's wrong? I don't want to be here anymore.
All right. So
the rest of the X-Men are so fucking disappointing in this run. I mean, we'll get to it, but Beast, I just fucking.
Beast does not come off well, and like he seems really hypocritical and psycho in this.
And Storm,
man, his motives were questionable at best, and then once he's okay, because Young Beast, there's like literally a scene where like they're in Beast's brain, like with Jean Grey, and Jean's there having Young Beast talk to Old Beast, and they're discussing like what's wrong with his body. He's like, I need to see all my record, like my medical records, and like they're like looking at everything. And then Young Beast goes, "What about that right there?" And he's like, "Oh, you're good." And they're like, that's kind of it. It's like kind of like he's like, "Oh, you found the mistake. Oh, I didn't even see that," or whatever. And you're just like, that's okay. That's it. Like it was just like one thing of Young Beast being like, "What are you not paying attention? Double check your work, buddy." And then like that's kind of it. And then he's fine after that. He has like a fourth mutation essentially, and becomes kind of like
he goes back to being more like an ape, kind of.
Yeah, he's more apish. Yeah, he went from like tigery Beast to like ape Beast kind of thing.
Yeah, but I feel like I mean Wolverine and Kitty came off okay. They were just kind of their usual self.
Yeah, Kitty was fine. I like Kitty. I like Wolverine.
I don't think all the
Kitty is fantastic. Wolverine is just like simping for Professor X. I couldn't fucking handle it.
Oh, that is sort of a weird. It is.
Storm was like the biggest disappointment ever. I'm like,
she's just non-existent. I feel like Storm's just like a background character. Just like, I feel what's going on, guys? And you're just like, what's happening right now?
I wouldn't say Storm would have joined
You're
Cyclops,
an X-Men leader.
but I feel like she would have been more kind of in the middle of like, she also she had Professor X's number like back in the 60s. There's issues with her being like, this fucking guy like basically brainwashed me into leaving my people to fight for his cause that he could fix himself if he just used his powers. Anyway, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Mystique had linked up with young Cyclops, and then Jean Grey reads his mind. So Kitty's kind of freaking out that Mystique has made contact with young Cyclops when old Cyclops and his crew of X-Men show up at the mansion. And that's how this first issue that we're covering ends.
Well, but we skipped Mystique breaking baby Mastermind out of the
Reagan.
Yeah, I think the implication there is like you need a Mastermind around a young Jean Grey to scare everyone into thinking it's going to be a new Phoenix.
Yeah, I did kind of like because we when Dave was on the Swamp Couch, we did the Dark Phoenix saga, and there were a lot of references to Wingard the Elder Mastermind with baby Mastermind and the Phoenix. I just thought it was kind of cool, little Easter eggs to that Dark Phoenix saga.
This did genuinely read better having that knowledge or that recent reread of the Dark Phoenix saga in my head. I will say it was kind of more fun because like all that stuff was like more relevant.
I think this is the only thing I've ever read with Lady Mastermind. Was her name Reagan? I kind of really enjoyed her character and her dynamic with Mystique and Sabretooth. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I think
she's kind of a fun character.
She was fun. I also had no idea who she was, but she was pretty fun. Also, I think it's Regan because it's a King Lear.
Regan
reference. Regan was one of King Lear's daughters.
She also, much like Emma, wears zero clothing.
No, but
that's the Bacalo top. So that's her. It's the Bacalo top because Bacalo was doing the Uncanny X-Men.
My old buddy Chips.
Chips was doing Uncanny X-Men. Emma is wearing the same exact thing as, and I think she was in Rogue's Extreme X-Men, and I think Bachalo did that, and this was her costume in that. So Bachalo gives this outfit to like several of the X-women.
I just
it reminds me of Age of Apocalypse Kitty Pryde, actually. Although I don't think there was the big slice down the middle, but she had like the tall gloves that looked kind of metal, and then like kind of a halter top kind of deal.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The big slice down the middle is that's the big selling point of these.
But it's bizarre. Like, can you imagine? Forget superhero. If you were just out in the world and saw somebody walk up to you with like their shirt from behind grabs the boob, but then the full front is naked.
It's just nothing. But it stops at the belt. At the belt, you have pants.
Who would wear, like, in what situation would you not just, what would happen? Like, if you saw somebody wear that walk up to you at a mall, what would you, it's just insane.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy.
I don't feel like it's that far
ever
afield from how people dress now, honestly.
Like, this bitch is looking for attention.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. It's an insane costume.
It's an insane costume. So, before the issue ends as well, there is a relatively large scene between Beast and Angel talking about like, "Hey, I see you're feeling okay," and he's like, "Yes, I am. Thank you very much, young Warren." and he's like, "Hey, man, what about this genocide thing?" And he's like, "Oh, I think it's good. I think we're good." You know, kind of like it's just like they have no. Beast is just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you guys do what you want to do now. Like, you saw old Cyclops. You know, kind of thing. I don't know.
I was definitely
their conversation is very
Angel.
like, what the fuck, man?
Angel was the one who was like, "I want to go home. We should go home." The rest, the four others vote to stay, and he's like, "We shouldn't be here. We should go home." And,
well, I like how Warren is saying, "What you told us he was doing genocide," and then I like how Beast answers is, "Well, he's calling for people to res up. That's dangerous talk." And Warren's like, "Well, talk. Like I thought, like I thought we were
what's it called,
talk, bro?"
Anticipatory obedience. Yeah. It's better to do.
I think that it's not far off. I mean, well, so Cyclops is calling for not only protecting mutants, but for a revolution of mutants to like rise up. And I think what Beast is trying to say is that like this will cause them to come after us, and eventually that means Sentinels are going to be on our doorstep. No matter like everything he does, everything Cyclops is doing is like one more step closer to like the humans rising up and attacking us. And there's, a couple thousand of us and 5 billion of them, and like we're gonna die, like kind of thing. And I think that's
they've been doing that for decades. Beast,
I know,
bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is all like. First of all, Cyclops was right.
Cyclops was
Hashtag
right.
Cyclops was right.
Cyclops was right. What is wrong with you guys?
But the issue does end with Cyclops, Mags, Magic, and Emma Frost showing up. This is going back to our very recent discussion of Lady Mastermind's thing. Magic, Emma, and Lady Mastermind, I feel like they should have a team because they're all wearing like variations on that same theme of black leather and like showing a lot. It's just weird that
Emma and Lady Mastermind's costumes are like almost identical.
But they're also all blonde women. It's just weird that the blonde women all wear the same costume.
Yeah. I was laughing about that because
kind
like
of a weird choice.
The cuckoos? I don't know.
Cuckoos.
They're cuckoos.
The cuckoos join Cyclops and Emma. So Magneto, who survived concentration camps, is like with Cyclops, is surrounded by blonde-haired, blue-eyed women, and then 3 more join him, and I'm just like, it's looking very Aryan race here right now. Do you think Eric's like looking around like, wait a minute?
Yeah, it's funny. They get back to home base.
Am I on the wrong team here?
What's happening here? Yeah, he's like,
hold on a second. Am I on the wrong team?
From 0 to 60 really fast.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
I do love the white Magneto look. It's just a sharp look. I do like that.
I mean, white Magneto and Cyclops with the X visor is so good.
So good.
Cyclops with the X visor is so awesome. I love it.
It is a great look. They dumped it way too early. I feel like you could have just kept.
They got rid of that so fast. Well, this is like once he's not dark Cyclops anymore, they're like, oh, let's go back to the normal visor. I'm like, no, keep the X.
My favorite.
He dies, and then when he comes back to life,
I'll call this out when we get there. But my favorite Cyclops moment in this run is there's a news clip of him where he's doing this with his hands, like he's in the Ginyu Force.
He also does this, which is like the Wakanda thing.
But he's like doing an X with his hands, and he's got X eye. It's just great. He's like he's on the Ginyu Force or some shit doing a pose.
So I mean,
also,
like,
by the way,
go
the other thing I'll call about Cyclops right now is the Phoenix broke him and Emma's powers. For some reason, it didn't break Magic's powers. So Cyclops like can't control his optic blast whatsoever. So he's like essentially kind of powerless right now, doing all this crazy.
Yeah, every
shit.
time he shoots, it's like wild circles of energy, like looping out around it. And like young Cyclops is just like this straight beam. And then every time Cyclops shoots, it's like a weird burst.
Emma can do diamond form, but she doesn't have her telepathy right now. So that's why she's
right. And Magneto's even a little fucked up because he got blasted.
Yeah, Magneto's
yeah. So he's
a little bit
too.
So even though the terrorists are kind of at a disadvantage.
I don't know if later in the run this changes, but in these issues, Magneto is very sort of passive, not asserting himself very much. Which is
because Cyclops really took like control of everything in the Avengers versus
X-Men
stuff. And I think Magneto went that I feel okay, you know, like kind of like there was a lot of like Magneto kind of going like new respect for Cyclops. I get it now, you know, kind of thing. So that's kind of like flowing into this.
That same kind of relationship flowed into Krakoa because I felt like he also had kind of like a passive in the background relationship to Professor X, who was more actively leading stuff, and Magneto was just more kind of
once Magneto kind of joins with the rest of the mutants, he's just kind of like, okay, I'll just do my thing. You guys lead the way. You know, I'm good.
But I sort of like, but it's weird because on the one hand, it feels incongruous with the previous character, but on the other hand, I kind of like the just strong, incredibly badass. If I'm needed, I can wreck the fucking world, Magneto.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna hang back for now, kind of character. I sort of do like that, even though it's a big contrast with who he's been historically. But anyway.
Well, he's failed so many times. Maybe he's just kind of like
and also he's gone through a lot of like character changes in recent times, and I think that kind of started with like the Zorn shit. Back in
and it might also be, even though I know that in comic time, whatever, Cyclops is now 35 or 28 or 30 or whatever, and he was 15, but it's been 60 years. So in that meta comic sense, maybe Magneto as a character has kind of phased more into a phase where he just says, why don't I let these other people
he's grown. He's grown as a character.
I've tried it. I've tried espousing this ideology and doing it and it hasn't worked. Why not?
I think that's exactly what it is, honestly.
Why don't
Which
I
think is a really cool take on the character.
People try, yeah.
Anyway, Mystique's doing crimes with fake young X-Men for some reason. She's like framing them for that part. I don't get like why.
No, there is a reason. Didn't she want to like send the Avengers on a goose hunt for the other X-Men while she steals money?
Yeah, but I mean, like
she did that. That's the goal. She did that.
You could just do it with any other way.
Also, Lady Mastermind apparently was imprisoned in a jail wearing the clothing she normally wears.
I clocked that as well.
Because she's here outside the prison just wearing the same outfit. So they apparently captured her.
Al, it's all an illusion. She's wearing prison orange right now.
I maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
She doesn't even look like this. She's a troll looking person.
Well, she is too, right? Don't we see a scene where she's in a wheelchair and frail and not beautiful and hot? So she is not that, right?
I think that's like a memory. That's not like
that was
just in a wheelchair. I don't think she's how she is. She's not like
I thought that was hinting at the fact that she, like Wingard himself, projects a more handsome version
of himself. Yeah, I don't think she's doing that. I could be wrong.
I assumed that was intimating that she's making herself seem more perfect.
I kind of thought it was something to do with maybe Jean Grey had fucked her up before in the past, putting her into a hospital.
Regardless, the Shield Raft prison should probably get like prison garb for its inmates.
Yeah, for sure. They do.
Maybe
they do. That's not her. She wasn't wearing that.
Okay. All right.
What I was thinking.
No,
So,
she
all
was
right, I
literally
have two-
wearing that when they in the last issue. She's wearing it when they open the
nonsense.
cell. When they open the cell,
Nonsense.
she has that outfit on.
Yeah,
No.
she's projecting it. It's not real. It's not real.
Yeah,
She would never
Patrick,
do that.
you think she was wearing that,
Yeah, you
Maybe.
think you
but
see
you
that
don't
she's wearing it.
know. You don't know she was.
Well, so Patty, and maybe you can fill me in on this a little bit better, but like, what's Magic doing exactly? Because she seems like she's just their taxi service.
She's teleporting.
And then later on, she's like, "Here's some new fancy costumes, young little guys," and like that's it, kind of. And I'm just like, "What's going? Is there more? Is Magic being used properly on that team? The team of Cyclops, Magneto, and Emma and Magic. Magic just like warps them everywhere, and that's kind of like that's her whole job. Like,
But
I just need a team. We don't have an X jet,
But
it's not her whole job. Her job right now is to transport them because they need to travel. But I'm sure she has many more.
It's a running joke in like current comics, and it might be tossing back to this era where it was like people are like, do not ask her to teleport you somewhere unless like it's like urgent, because she really fucking hates being a taxi service to the
she'll be
X-Men.
annoying. She'll be annoying.
And I think it's kind of, she's so unhinged that like I think Cyclops, she's on Team Cyclops, she's very pro mutant, but I think she like wants to like straight up murder the Avengers. Like I think Cyclops is just like keeping her close because
kind of holding her back,
powerful,
yeah,
and then also kind of just like trying to keep her from just totally.
I mean, aside from the scene where her and Cyclops talk about like Peter and whether or not she's seen like Colossus recently, or he has, or whatever, and they're kind of like, well, we don't know where he's at, kind of thing, and that's kind of the end of the conversation. Like that's the entirety of her scenes in this entire 6-issue run, if not more, is just like her going like, all right, let's go here. All right, let's go back. All right, let's go here. All right, let's go back. Kind of thing. And I'm like, what the fuck is she doing?
Well, there's a funny beat, and I almost texted to you guys earlier. An Uncanny X-Men that's going in along with this book. They have a conflict with the Avengers, and Cyclops goes, Ileana, he's talking about Captain America. I want you to be ready. The millisecond that shield leaves his arm, Ileana goes, kill him. And then Cyclops goes, no. She goes, no?
Oh, that's good.
I don't know. Good stuff.
No. Anyway.
But in a Russian accent.
Yeah, so the whole school rushes out to meet Cyclops. Old Cyclops. God bless it. That's going to get so annoying.
No, just say old. Just say old and baby.
The whole school empties out onto the lawn to see new Cyclops and old Cyclops and what his like. I guess he's basically like, come join us. We're doing this. Like, you don't have to stay here.
So my other thing about Cyclops is, so he's starting this he calls it the new Xavier School, but then he also explicitly says the point here is to train you to fight. So why not call it Cyclops Boot Camp? Like, it's not a school. It's a soldier.
Because the original
factory.
Xavier School was also a soldier factory.
I know, but why not? But why use that?
I think it's pretty in keeping with what they're doing.
But my question is, why keep the branding? Why not just say,
because he has that
Cyclops Warrior School?
Yeah, he should be like, this is the Cyclops Magneto School of badass mutants or something.
Yeah, just name it that. Like, why bother trying to reclaim the Xavier name?
Because he's using the name, bro. It's all about gravitas.
It's taking the power back.
I kind of feel like I think for him, if I was Cyclops and I was being this harshly judged by the rest of the X-Men who know how big of a piece of a shit Professor X is, this is all like post Deadly Genesis, like all the crazy shit that Xavier's done is like
he's a piece of shit.
And they have the argument with Beast. He says, we tried everything, but letting them know what we truly are, what Xavier trained us to be. And Beast says, what is that, Scott? And then he says, warriors. And that was, that's all Xavier did, was train them since they were like 16, how to fight fucking other mutants, basically.
There weren't many.
I think it was just kind of like
in between
a rub. I think it was just kind of a rub for Cyclops to be like, I'm fucking calling this the Xavier.
And this is just more of a broad question for the two of you, I guess. But like, what's the big deal that he killed Xavier? Like what? Like, I mean,
let's get
why
into
are they
it.
so? Why are they so unbelieving that it was like the fucking Phoenix Force was inside of him and he went a little crazy?
Right.
That's happened so many goddamn times. Like, Jean Grey has done some crazy fucking shit with the Phoenix Force inside of her. Like, is this that insane. Even Magneto is like, listen, dude, I know you're telling yourself over and over again that it was the Phoenix Force, but like coming from a guy that's done a lot of dark shit in his past, like, and I have to deal with that and wake up with that and think about it every day. It was still me. I'm atoning for it, and I'm kind of doing what I'm doing now with you guys. But like, I know that it was me that did all those things. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't have the fucking Phoenix Force inside you, where you guys are well aware that turns fucking people crazy.
But so
I just don't understand why they're so like.
But here's
it's all Cyclops. You need to be on trial for murder, and I'm like, does he though? Like, kind of thing. Like,
this is my read on it. I think if you read it at face value, it seems hypocritical because, like we mentioned, Wanda earlier, Jean Grey. We have all sorts of examples of people unconsciously overtaken by forces, doing bad shit, and then just being forgiven for it without having to take personal responsibility.
So they're trying to finally.
So if you do it at face value, it seems hypocritical to like. When Jean Grey does it, it's fine. But when this Phoenix Force takes over Cyclops, it's not okay. But I think if you read it as this is a new arc where Bendis, as an author, is making a point, I think Bendis, and I think Jean Grey's attack on Wanda later is also a signal in this direction. And I think Bendis is saying, regardless of how the past has viewed the Phoenix Force, I think he's saying he, as an author in this arc, is taking a direct look at where does personal responsibility lie in these situations.
I like that.
Because again, if you take, when Jean Grey was yelling at Wanda and all the Avengers are saying, it's okay, we're dealing with it. But Jean Grey is saying, no, you're not. She did these things.
Yeah.
I think that's more in line with how people in the world are treating Cyclops as saying, yeah, the Phoenix was in you, but still you did the act. So I think this is, if you take away the surface level and you dig deeper at Bendis in this run, I think he's taking a more direct look at that view of where is the personal responsibility in these, let's call them crimes of passion, right?
Sure.
These crimes of unconscious, because the Phoenix Force in Jean Grey's, okay, let's zoom out even more.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to look
at... I really like where this went. Okay. We'll go on.
But there's a way to look at X genes, and by an extension of that, the Phoenix Force as like adolescence and these chemical, hormonal, unconscious parts of us that drive some of our decision-making, our passionate decision-making one way or another, right? And so we can divide like logic and ego from id and subconscious and animalistic and natural urges. And the X gene and the Phoenix Force are extensions of that natural animalistic urge. So in that sense, I think we can really discuss like whether you want to call it the Phoenix Force or the X gene or Wanda's power or whatever. Where is the balance of rational decision and animalistic urge, and where is the responsibility within the person for taking those actions? And that's what Bendis is getting at. And he's using, and I know it sounds, given the history of the X-Men, it seems hypocritical to single out Cyclops as it's not okay for him.
Yeah, but it's okay for all these others. Yeah.
But I think Bendis is he's saying, take a stop here. And let's really re-examine where is personal responsibility in the context of a Phoenix Force, i.e. our id, i.e. our natural passion and instincts, taking over for a moment and doing something that we can't take back. Mm-hmm. And where is our responsibility?
I love the analysis of that, but I guess everything you're saying makes complete sense. However, I can't get over the hypocritical nature.
For sure, it does. That's
the part where I'm just I get everything you're saying is so logical. It makes complete sense. But like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, but like up until Bendis, they haven't, even within this story, they confront, and we'll get there. They confront Wanda, but like later on in the X jet or whatever, like Wolverine blows it off. He's like, no, don't go there, kid, or whatever. Like he just blows it off. Like, leave Wanda alone. Like you weren't there. And I'm like, I don't know.
But I do think, to be clear, I don't think Bendis is explicitly saying the
I don't think he is either.
responsibility lies
Yeah.
with the individual, and Cyclops is wrong. Because, for example, when we get to that scene where Jean calls out Wanda, again, that's a very hypocritical, and I think Bendis did this intentionally.
On purpose, yeah.
That is very hypocritical for Jean Grey to say, Wanda, you should be held responsible for the things you did when your unconscious powers took over. And I think again, I don't think Bendis is saying one way or another, we should blame these people or not. But I think it's very intentional that Jean Grey kind of hypocritically calls out Wanda. And I think he just wants us to think about that. And I think the main point he's making is it's not one or the other. You can't just say it was the Phoenix or it was my mutant power. You know, I'm not fully responsible. Or Cyclops saying it was the Phoenix.
And Cyclops has to
alone.
reconcile with that, but
Yeah.
to put him on trial, I think.
But
is
I think Bendis is trying to hint that somewhere in the middle, like we just have to come up with some way to reconcile both things being true. That an instinctual, unconscious power took over, but also the person did do that.
Yeah, and I think
And
that's
how
kind
do
of what
we
Magneto was
come to
saying
grips with
through
that?
Bendis, of
Yeah.
course. But like, I think that's kind of what he's saying in the Magneto conversation with Cyclops of kind of going like, you know, I feel like there's a part of you that wanted to do that, whether you want to face that or not. You should try to face that, you know, kind of thing. Like, go ahead.
I take it a different way. I kind of feel like Bendis is very much on the team of Cyclops was right, maybe, because there's even in this issue, Wolverine is like, I'm going to kill you for killing the professor. And Cyclops says, do you think that I set out to murder the man who raised me, the man who picked me up out of the gutter, taught me everything I know? You think that in control of myself, I murdered this man? If you think that I murdered Charles Xavier of my own free will, then here I am. Kill me here. I couldn't live with the thought that any of you even think that's who I am. And then Wolverine just grits his teeth and doesn't do anything. And I don't know. I just feel like it's the rest of the X-Men are just fucking cowards. And I think they can't reconcile with the fact that Xavier was a shitty fucking mentor. And Cyclops is taking steps that they should all be fucking taking to protect their race. And that Xavier's dream was silly and stupid. And like the other thing and this is fucking editors, but like I get what the point you're making, Al, but they also kind of fucked up the whole Jean hypocrisy thing by being like, well, that wasn't really Jean Grey. That was the Phoenix that made a cloned body of Jean that did all those terrible things. So like it's just the way they
the way they retconned everything. I mean, that does but
it would make
so all of it's complicated, and also by the fact. I mean, you did make the most important point that Professor X is a piece of shit.
Well, that's like
he is a known piece of shit.
Would Cyclops punch him in the face? Like if Cyclops was heated, would he punch him in the face? Maybe, but would he fucking kill the guy? No. Like I just.
But Patrick, one thing I want to. So the way you phrased it and the way Cyclops phrases it is, do you think of my own logical free will I would have made this action? But that's exactly what Bendis is getting at. Of course, the answer is no. But we are all. When do any of us ever act in a fully logical free will way? And when are we somewhat swayed by emotion? When not? I think that's the point Bendis was making. But the way Cyclops phrased it is, of course, he didn't, in a perfectly logical, free will, intentional way, murder Xavier. But that's not how murders happen many times. It isn't a logical, thought out, planned thing. It's a crime of passion.
Passionate moment.
And so to be honest, that comes into it too.
Charles
so the front lawn is a mutant? I love this place.
Yeah, I don't. So Krakoa is like living on campus. I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah, he is.
But I do. So one thing I do, as much as when we talked about the Krakoa arc, and I talked about how I didn't like that. One thing about this that was kind of cool was seeing some of the seeds for what then becomes the Krakoa world.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah, this is definitely what leads down that path. Like this. Yeah. This definitely prepares you as a reader for what's to come in terms of like House of X and Power of X.
Yeah. So and in terms of, and we already hit on this, but like Magneto's place in this, and then Krakoa showing up. I did like the little seeds you see of what then the Hickman brings into Krakoa.
Yeah.
Okay, but we've got to
also Immonen really draws Wolverine like a small little troll man ape.
Well,
troll
he
man.
does, and then when Sabretooth at the end
Really
Sabretooth
leans
calls
into
him
it.
midget, I laugh because he is a little troll man.
Also, there's one other thing about Beast being a piece of shit. He told them that Cyclops killed Professor X, but didn't tell them that Cyclops is possessed by the Phoenix. And young Cyclops is like, the Phoenix drove me crazy, and then I killed Xavier.
Yeah, he's like,
that's not what.
I mean,
you
there's a
told
reason
me.
that the young X-Men do eventually just go with Cyclops.
Yeah, they go.
Like there is a
alert,
fucking reason that they're like, wait a minute, all right, I'm
Yeah.
actually kind of more on this, side of the table.
Yeah, Beast is. He just seems wound up. I think he needs a vacation. He's. Just
I mean, it's
kind of a
almost like the guy was
mess
about to die or something. Later on, when X-23 joins the team, that's after this, right? Yeah, it's after.
Yeah,
but X-23 joins the team, Al, and young Cyclops is kind of like flirting with her and like kind of in a relationship sort of with like a girl version of Wolverine, and I just thought it was fun. Very, very, again, thinking of where they go with Krakoa and
leading
like,
back to the throuple.
they have a room. They have a room in the middle where Jean and Cyclops and Wolverine all kind of hang out, and then they have their separate rooms, but they have a room in the middle, adjoining rooms, kind of thing. And I'm okay.
I've said this
I
before. I say this now. I will say this again. Jean Grey is the vector by which Wolverine and Cyclops
want to fuck each other.
That's all she's ever been.
Everyone knows.
That's what.
Everyone knows it. It's obvious.
And then at the end of this issue, there's a twist because one of the original X-Men says, I'll join old Cyclops. And then it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, we don't know who it is.
Until the next issue. And then let's go to issue 11. Who's going to join them? So this is a big complaint of mine. Because I feel like if you were going to pick any of the original X-Men who didn't matter as much, who could go join old Cyclops, it'd be fucking Angel. Because it's Angel.
Who cares? No, and also it's not shocking at all. He's the one who's like, I want to go home, and they're all like,
I know. I thought it would have been.
And also, Jean fucked with his brain. I don't know. There's just like.
Also, if you really wanted a twist, it should be Jean or Cyclops or something. I don't know. Or Beast, even. I don't. It just
before this though, like Angel meets because all the other mutants are around except for Jean. They've all met their adult selves. Angel meets his adult self, who at this time, because comic books are crazy, is his body, but like a different soul is inside of his body. And so when Angel
I don't
learns
even know what's
like
going on with the Angel.
Like
He's
Angel learns
like, let's go fly. It's so insane.
He's out of his mind.
Angel's Angel's time.
Yeah, Angel learns about like all the crazy shit he goes through and how like he loses his fucking wings, and then he becomes a.
He's like, "Where'd you get those metal wings?" And he's like, "I'll tell you a story. Everything's okay now." And he's like, "Oh, so I was tortured and I almost died." Kind of thing. Like it's dark.
It makes more sense that Angel, like, I get that he's the most useless of the original X-Men. I've never really cared for the character that much, but given what he's seen of his future, he's like, yeah, fuck you guys. I'm gonna go with this guy over here who's not trying to play nice.
Yeah, so I will say
that's also what I mean. If you're setting up a cliffhanger for a twist, it wouldn't be that guy.
Oh yeah,
who goes?
Yeah,
that's more what I meant.
Well, I don't think it's more of a twist. It's not a twist. It's just like, let's wait till next issue to reveal this for no reason. It's a cliffhanger for no reason. It's just how comic books are written. The thing that I was gonna touch on, I really enjoy about the young X-Men being in the present day is like they very quickly start to introduce little differences. Like Jean gets her telepathy, and then Beast is like, "Huh, I don't remember you learning that for like another year. That's interesting." That kind of thing. There's little shifts like that, and then like a little bit later, they start to like Cyclops and Jean aren't like together. Like she starts to kind of date Beast. Young Beast in a way, like kind of thing. So it's like little interesting things like that, and also young Iceman's adorable. There's little things that I love about like the young X-Men being in the present day. And they start to shift and change things, like where Cyclops isn't just the known leader all the time, and maybe it does sort of become Jean. Like kind of going back to that little panel you pointed out, Al, about like Cyclops being on the ground and Jean was like up in the air and like been like and still doing shit,
But also to Bendis's creative point, it's an interesting question, because like if you see who you're going to be,
you immediately start to
change. Does that then change how you act now? What you're pointing towards? It is an interesting little way to kind of tweak the formula and see what's different. Yeah. Yep. One thing about this next issue 11, Cyclops goes into, this is something in comics that for some reason really grates at me, but he goes into Captain America mode where he points with his finger. I don't like that. I don't like it when Cap does it. I don't like it when he does. I don't like it when people just
they're all yelling at each other
and say like, "You've got to do this because I'm Cyclops, and you got to." And he points with his finger. Everybody stand down. I'm not a fan of that.
Jean kind of breaks up the whole argument by yelling, "Stop it!" And get out of her head, kind of thing. So her powers are kind of going out of control.
Well, Jean just basically once again tries to control Angel, being like, "You're not going with them, and you're with us." And this is when Emma, because she doesn't have her psychic powers, because the Cuckoos are already like, "We're gonna go with."
Oh, the Cuckoos go ham on Jean, dude. They lay.
I love Jean, but I love the Cuckoos, and man, they just obliterate Jean. It's So while that's happening, my favorite part of this entire thing, the Cuckoos are kind of like psychically destroying Jean, and they're making the good point of like she needs to learn. She needs to learn that she can't just go fucking around with people's heads because it's your head.
I love that. Yeah,
but Wolverine gets really mad as if he's going to go for the Cuckoos.
Yes, this is my favorite part when
sassy Magneto. Yeah, it basically says
it's like Logan, please. Logan, please. Come on. Your body's made of metal, you stupid bitch. It's fantastic.
And the way he throws him down, the panel of him throwing him down to the ground, like Wolverine's legs are just like up in the air, like Sailor Moon when she's embarrassed, and just like face first to the ground. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's like slammed to the ground. That's not like, well, I mean, it's Wolverine. He knows he'll heal, but like he fucked him up a little bit.
He wasn't gentle at all, though. Logan, please.
I do like how, like, Emma's just like, yeah, they're right. She does need to learn her fucking place.
Yeah,
like fuck this, blah blah blah. And then Cyclops is like, that's enough. Like kind of thing. Like
old,
as in like
old
we got
Cyclops.
Old Cyclops. Yeah,
talks,
again,
and it's not until then that they don't stop until Emma says stop. By the way, it's not like Cyclops saying that's enough makes them stop. He says it to Emma, and then Emma's like, all right.
I did enjoy.
I didn't like how
Cyclops.
Go ahead, Pat. Sorry.
Just the art note with Emma, how she goes into diamond form with the psychic stuff happening. Because I feel like Emma still is traumatized by Jean Grey from Dark Phoenix saga.
100%.
So she like did not want to get caught up in the. So she like.
Yeah, she's like, oh, there's a psychic battle happening. I'm gonna diamond up right now. I'm just in diamond form. It's no big deal.
One thing about, because I'm a big Cyclops fan and I'm a Cyclops' right person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this very like dictatorial Cyclops version we get. Like Emma, that's enough. This just kind of.
Well, this is like this is the dark Cyclops. This is as dark
I know,
as
but
it
I'm not
gets.
a big fan. It just seems very authoritarian.
Those two are very much like on the outs right now. Like,
there's also that, but also
factor,
because when Emma's recruited to the team earlier, Al, in the earlier issues, Magneto and Cyclops like free Emma, and she's just basically like, I don't want to be on your fucking team. And he's like, well, you kind of don't have a choice. They kind of like it was kind of a very hesitant situation. But I mean, like, he's yelling, girls, Emma, that's enough. It's like, stop it. Like he's saying stop multiple times before he's like, Emma, that's enough. He winds up to that point is what I'm saying. It's not like he immediately is just like, I'm going to point my finger at you, Emma. Like, he's like, please stop. You're hurting her.
Yeah, but he just still comes over as a little bit overly harsh,
I guess, but that's,
kind
of,
which is fine because I know that's
leader
where he
Cyclops
was at this moment. I mean, that's where he was at this time, but I still.
Well, also he's looking at Jean Grey, who is obviously the love of his life, as the 16-year-old, how he first met her, and she's being tortured by his ex that he's got a complicated relationship with. Like
he doesn't like it.
Yeah. So the only correction I make is Wolverine is the love of his life, but yes, otherwise I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
His first passionate love was Jean Grey.
Yeah. I feel like I can skip it. Basically, Mystique is just like robbing.
She's just robbing different.
This is just that's background shit. I just want to talk about the relationships with the characters. That's just action plot crap in the background.
But Mystique, so she stole stuff from a vault. Now she's stealing from Tony Stark. Next, she's going to steal from, I think, the London Stock Exchange. She's just stealing a bunch of money.
Stealing time.
Also, why Jean Grey's go-to move is to go sulk on the basketball courts, which I thought was weird because she does it multiple times. It's not just this one time. Multiple times she goes out to sit on the basketball court and sulk.
It is, and she
strange.
doesn't. She never plays basketball. She just sulks in the court.
She just sulks on the
She
basketball
never,
court.
but she's never like shooting.
And they're
you know,
like,
she's never,
and then a couple of mutants come outside and they're like, Jean, we were gonna have a game, and she's like, "Fuck off, I'm sulking right now." I'm like, God damn, Jean, all right. I like Kitty and Jean's relationship in this issue.
Yeah, it's really good
because Kitty is like, "Hey, you can't do that shit," kind of thing, and she's like, "I know," but and he's like, "No, that's it. Like, you do this again, we're done. Like, you're not like this isn't okay. Like, you can't just go into fucking people's brains and be like, get in the house. I told you to get in the house, Warren." I really enjoyed this conversation.
And another note I liked about this conversation, and I don't know if it was, I'm assuming it was a Bendis choice, but it comes off visually. But some of it is spoken and some of it is thought.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Each other.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the cool kind of, because, obviously Jean's psychic, and I thought that was a cool little twist that
when she
some of it is expressed verbally and some of it
faults, or like when she's like she literally says, "I'm really embarrassed," but when she's upset the most and being the most vulnerable, it's in her mind, like she's talking through her powers, which I enjoyed as well. Yeah. So they go fly off, and classic superhero, they can't just be like, "Hey, we need to talk, can you land?" The Avengers decide to down the X-Men's jet, man.
Okay. And then the last scene, again, a cliffhanger, but can we talk about how small Havok's package is?
No bulge whatsoever.
Like nothing.
He's a shower, not a grower. He's got a little something there.
Nothing right there. I mean, rest of him obviously
Wanda,
in shape, looks great. Rest of him, but just little nothing right there.
And I don't know how long I felt about it. Might be House of M, but I feel like I didn't like her before this. But like Wanda, man, like every time Wanda's on a page, I'm just like, fuck that fucking bitch. Like immediately, I'm just like, hate her.
I was not reading comics at this time, so as soon as I saw that Wanda was on the Avengers, my eyes just rolled. And like, we're doing this shit again. Like
they literally say, like later on in the jet, they're like, and she gets to be an Avenger. Like they're like shocked and pissed off about it that she's still. And I'm like, bonkers. Exactly.
I have strong feelings that she shouldn't be allowed to be free. Like she's a race criminal. I don't. She's just like awful. But at the very least, don't put her on the goddamn Justice League. Like,
stop it. Stop it. The only thing I can think of that would justify that in any way is that you keep her super close so you can constantly watch her to make sure nothing's going wrong. Like the slightest little mental hiccup happens, you're like, oh fuck, Wanda's getting
but like within the span of
we might need to turn our brain off again.
Within the span of 10 years, she caused Avengers Disassembled and House of M.
Mm-hmm.
Like she caused both those crossover events.
I was like in the span of like 4 years.
Yeah, it was really close.
And she's in the Avengers now in 2014 or whenever this was. She's in the Avengers. It's bonkers.
It's I don't know. The way they all just give her the benefit of the doubt. It's again, obviously Bendis is like pointing this out on purpose, but like it's one of those things where it's like, it's incredible. Like that they're like, oh yeah, she murdered all the mutants and she's allowed to be an Avenger still. And Cyclops killed Xavier and they're like, crucify him. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Yeah. But anyway,
like even Wolverine in the plane is like, you weren't there, you don't understand. I'm like, you were there when Cyclops killed Xavier. I feel like you'd have a little more understanding of what was going on.
Wolverine's a bootlicker, pick me mutant.
He is. But issue 12, you did say it. Issue 12, this is where we get Cyclops' little Ginyu Force X-Men signal. Where he's on national TV.
Oh, it's before these issues. There's sorry, because I forget that I read like a little bit of their run-up stuff, but he does this in an earlier one, like the Wakanda fists from the MCU. But when he does this with the hands up or the fingers out, I was like, pick a salute, man. You're all over the place. Like, solidarity. Let's make an X formation with our arms.
I've got to
say,
you can't.
You got to figure out what you're doing with your hands, man.
Well, also, this is what Conan would do. If you watch the original Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was a pit fighter gladiator, and his
Yeah,
victory thing is
and he lived in the
he
tree
would
of
raise
woe.
his hands up. He would raise his hands up like in victory, and then do this, and that was his victory pose. So it's very he would
Black
do a
Panther
Wakanda
stole it
thing.
from Arnold.
But Arnold also, as the gladiator pit fighter in Conan, he had little fist blade things, kind of like a Wolverine, that he would fight with, and he would do this at the. So it all comes together.
It all comes together. Everything
all
always
comes
goes back to
together.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Everything comes back to Arnold in the early 80s. Everything just coalesces back to that. Okay, but the Avengers pull over the jet,
this is the
Black
equivalent
Widow.
of a traffic stop by the Avengers for the X-Men.
It is,
And they're
which,
like, yeah, you've been
they
doing some
also-
crazy
just like a
shit.
real
And they're like,
traffic
that
stop,
wasn't
yeah.
us. And isn't there something happening right now which proves it's not us? And they're like, yeah, but that's
so-
true. And we believe you, but go home. And they're like, yeah, we're not.
Yeah, that's what I'm just like. Captain America's like, we have more pressing matters. You guys are robbing banks. Like, just kidding. We know it's not you. We for sure know it's not you, but we're still gonna fucking attack you and try to arrest you. And you're trying to talk. Oh, you're trying to talk about how Wanda did mutant genocide. Well, we got bigger problems because Mystique is robbing banks. So we don't have time to talk about
Tony
all the
Stark's
millions of
money
mutants
got
that
robbed.
died.
This is really important.
Well, I think you hit it on
millions
the
and
head,
millions
Joe.
of mutants were murdered.
I mean, Joe, I think you hit the nail on the head of the real problem is Tony Stark got robbed. So suddenly
Tony Stark
the Avengers
got robbed.
are involved
Now
in
they
petty
care.
crime. Yeah.
Right.
Another Captain
Who's gonna
America
buy our
note.
Avengers jets?
Captain America note. Here he is pointing a finger.
Yeah, yelling and
Pointing
pointing.
the
Yeah,
finger
he's a
and
real
yelling.
piece of shit in this scene. I'm gonna be
He's
honest. I like
awful.
Captain America a lot. He's awful.
Later in later
Awful.
scenes, he comes off better later.
It's
but
better.
In this,
It's better.
in this issue,
But-
he's bad. He's bad.
Also, I do love grown-up Havok being like, "Hey, buddy," to his brother, like the
It was
little
kinda
brotherly love
cute.
scene. I actually like it.
It was kind of
like it,
cute,
dude?
but man,
Yeah.
Havok really the whole. I mean, we'll get to it later, but the whole like mutant is a derogatory term.
He's
Oh,
a fucking
from
race
his-
traitor. He's a race traitor.
awful.
I'm sorry. I know that
Awful.
like we
The
can't-
M word.
The
and
M word, yeah.
yeah.
Fuck off.
Also, I know that as three white people, it's weird to talk, but he's a fucking race traitor. I don't like this
Yeah.
Uncle Tom shit.
And we'll
he's
get to it.
doing with Avengers X. I don't like any of it.
This made me have less respect for Havok, but like Kitty's whole speech about how she feels about his speech about
I
the
agree.
N word, like is fantastic. That's why Kitty's
Kitty's.
in the top
Kitty's
5
great.
X-Men, I think.
Kitty's great.
I agree, man. And I've said this a million times to you guys, but like I've loved Kitty and Nightcrawler and like since Excalibur from the 80s. Like I've just loved them forever, and I'm just like I just love those characters. So every time we read an X book or Kitty like gets to stand out a little bit, I'm like, yay, Kitty. You know, like kind of like I love Kitty.
Yeah,
but I mean, like,
Havok
and
though
Nightcrawler,
is
of course.
not. And to Joe, to your point, I did enjoy the Havok Cyclops little mini ship there.
Yeah.
But Havok, there's the later issue where they have a little snippet of his "Don't call me mutant" speech,
Mm-hmm.
and then someone says, "Well, what should we call you?" And he's like, "Well, how about Alex?" I just wanted to slap this
Fucking
dumb fuck in the face. and
Don't get
say,
me wrong.
"Wake
All
up."
the rest of the shit with Alex is horrible, but
Wake up,
Alex
like,
and young Scott, like little brother that's old, talking to like young brother that's like come forward through time, is just adorable, and I love it.
Yeah, but I just wanted to shake Alex and say, like, you are teaming up with the people who have been subjugating you for years. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. But okay.
Also, the scene you
forward.
pointed out with Captain America wagging his finger at Alex, he's like, "We talked about this, Summers. You can play catch up later." And then like Wanda's just like, "Just let him have a talk, man. Like, relax. Like, just let him talk to his fucking brother."
Do you know how much
Like,
money Tony's
chill
money
out.
could be making on just interest alone if it was in his
And
account
so it's like,
right now?
"Tis about brothers." You know what I mean? "Tis about brothers."
Also, I like this finger exchange between Captain America pointing at Wolverine and then Wolverine pointing at Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of pointing fingers back and forth.
Yeah, just back and forth pointing.
I like how Wolverine. It is funny how Wolverine talks about his relationship with Captain America, like later after this, and like in the plane and stuff. He's just like, "Yeah, he tells me to go home, and I just don't do it." And then he knows, he gets it. I'm just like, I kind of like, I don't know. There's something funny there that I'm just like, it's not like fully a joke, but it's sort of a joke, and it's kind of fun. I don't know. I enjoy that part.
It kind of goes full circle at the end of this.
Yeah.
storyline.
Yeah.
But then we get to this part I kind of laughed at because they're all just talking about like, we got to do this and you got to point to that and this. And then suddenly Jean's just, oh, there's a genocider here. And she freaks out.
Yeah.
And just kind of,
Yeah, which is kind of the crux of like why Patty picked these issues up. But it's so good. This is so good.
So
well, the other point back to Wanda, another
she's like
point
murderer.
And I know that I'm beating a dead horse with like this same point over and over about how she shouldn't be on the Avengers and all this, but also the minute Jean Grey says, "Oh, you're a terrible person," Wanda freaks the fuck out and says, "Stay out of my head! Oh my god!
You have no right to enter my mind without permit." What I assume she's going to say permission, and you're just like, you.
She
murdered
all
millions of people with.
But the point I wanted to
no
make
permission.
But the point I wanted to make is she obviously has not dealt with this in any way and is
she's loose
psychological train wreck of a human being that they're still allowing on the Avengers.
Even Thor's like, "Be still, young woman. This matter has been taken care." And she's like, "You want to be an Avenger?" And like freaks out. And I'm like,
it has not been taken care of because Wanda loses her composure immediately.
Yeah,
like, it's just insane. Like, she is obviously still an insane, unhinged person, and she gets.
You're accusing me of things I did not do consciously. I know you'll never understand this. Everything is so much more complicated. I'm doing the best I can. Put that woman in the ground. There's nothing redeemed. I don't believe a word she says. She's just gonna lose her shit like the next 5 minutes. Like, get rid of her.
They should put her in a black leather costume that reveals her whole front.
Yeah, of course.
That
would be the way to do it.
Like they did with Mastermind.
Dye her hair blonde as well.
Yeah.
Then she can join the X-Men.
Then maybe she could join Magneto's team once she's a blonde woman in leather.
Yeah, if she's a blonde woman, she could join Magneto's team.
Yeah.
When Jean's just like, you let her be an Avenger, because
I know it's so good, dude.
At this point in time in their timeline, she's part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and so she's like, on top of that, she killed a bunch of people, and you let her be an Avenger.
Our people were thriving, millions of them. Everything we suffered and sacrificed for was going to be all worth it, and you destroyed it. It's like that's it. Like nothing else needs to be said. Like everything we suffered and sacrificed for.
Rogue and Havok should feel real silly standing behind.
But this is the point.
Well, Alex doesn't, because he's about to have a very impassioned speech about what it means to be mutant.
God damn.
But one point.
Don't get me wrong. I never really liked Alex. I just enjoyed the brother shit.
Yeah, but now that we're here, this is where I want to ask, because I just read these issues. Honestly, I read this stuff today, but so I haven't had time to digest this.
Yeah.
But back to that earlier point of the hypocrisy of saying, like, Jean Grey, the classic Dark Phoenix host, telling someone else,
"Oh yeah,
you're responsible for the thing that your unconscious power made you do." What do you think Bendis was trying to say by having Jean call out Wanda as?
I just kind of took it as like
for the genocide you did.
Like, this Jean is aware of what older Jean did, but she herself hasn't done it. And I just
also almost simultaneously making amends, Patty. Is that what you mean?
Well, I just feel like it harkens back to the fact that she's not in control of her psychic powers, and she just sees something terrible and she reacts, and that's just how she's been through this entire story arc. And she's just a 16-year-old. Like, this is what 16-year-old Jean Grey, who doesn't have Professor X like holding her powers back, is capable of. She goes up against, Wanda does some stuff back to her, but she goes up against like the most powerful being in the Marvel universe just on instinct. But I didn't read into the deeper, like the parallels of the fact that Jean has also lost control and done terrible things.
Yeah.
Yes, but young Jean does know that she does do that.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying by the making amends part. Like, she's holding Wanda accountable because she feels like, at least in part, that her future self should have been held accountable. Maybe like she knows what she's about to go or what she went through,
because
you know,
that's the point I was going to make. Is one angle is because young Jean now hasn't done those things yet, even though she's mildly aware she has not done them yet. So is this a naive, more innocent Jean accusing Wanda of doing things she'll do herself later without really understanding the nuance that Wanda does? Is one way to look at it. Or is it like Joe said, is it more of, because Jean is aware she's capable and will do something sort of similar to like what Wanda's capable of doing? Is this her kind of like trying to criticize herself by using Wanda as the proxy
100%.
of like taking it out?
Yeah.
I'm just,
well,
I
also there's also the giant fact
sure
of she did do those things, and she does feel like she's held accountable.
She did do that. Yeah. But I just thought, anyway, I just wanted to say like a general kudos to Bendis, because I thought it was an interesting point to bring up, having Jean be the one to call out Wanda on this stuff. And I think, it's a little bit more impactful than like, if young Cyclops or some random young person had said, "Oh, Wanda, how could you do this?" It's a different dimension to it than Jean having done it, as another kind of Marvel hyper-powered woman who has power.
And he does try to not completely character assassinate Wanda, because Kitty's like, "Why did you read her mind?" And Jean's like, she's like, it's the forefront.
It's all she thinks about.
It's all she thinks about. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
So,
good.
Having said that, Wanda is a war criminal. She should be in jail.
She
should not be an Avenger.
She should turn herself into jail. Like it shouldn't be on like Captain America to smash her over her head with a shield. Like she should go, I shouldn't be an Avenger. Like, you know what I mean? Like if this is all you think about, and like you're that tormented by these crimes you've committed in the past, whether you think it was you doing it consciously or not, you should be like, I shouldn't be doing this right now. Like I need to retreat. It should be a self-imposed prison, if nothing else.
Well,
like,
I agree, but also we can't always rely on individuals to act in the best interest of the whole. So I think we do need guardrails on an institutional level where the Avengers would just say, let's not ask Wanda to be an Avenger again. Let's just not do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think honestly, and I this may be giving them a huge benefit of the doubt, but like there is a huge part of that where like if I was in charge of the Avengers and she was just this like wild loose cannon, I might want her close by to kind of make sure that she was not gonna.
No, I wouldn't. I would just say like, you know what? Fuck it. Ask Cloak and Dagger to join again. I don't give a shit. Like there's.
Well, I'd be like, live in the Avengers mansion. We're gonna check in with you every day to see how you're doing. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even be happy with her going off and living by herself or being in a prison or something. Like I would be like, well, that's not gonna work because you're gonna go crazy and kill everybody in the prison and become a supervillain. We're gonna have to take you out again. Like, just kill her.
Like, look,
there's no solution.
I know this is a bad thing to say, but I would just say like, if a dog bites somebody, you got to put the dog down.
That's literally what Emma says in the first issue of House of M. She goes, "Put her down."
Yeah, I strongly believe it's just.
I know we're touching on a lot of House of M in this, and obviously that's something we're going to read and cover at some point because there's no way we're not. But man, I can't wait to read that because it's going to be us bitching about Wanda again, just ranting about how horrible Wanda is endlessly.
Okay, but so basically, all of this Avengers X-Men thing kind of fizzles out because they agree to go away, and then we get to issue 13.
Yeah, I did like the one little beat about Mystique is they're robbing like they're getting all this money, and is it Regan, Lady Mastermind, like tries to have like a little side powwow with Sabretooth. She's like,
it's baby. What? Lady Mastermind is sexist. It's baby Mastermind.
But she owns it. She says, I like Lady Mastermind. I'm going to go by Lady Mastermind. So I'm going to call her Lady Mastermind because that's what the woman wants. Okay. But she's like, Sabretooth, don't you think this is weird that we're stealing this much money? Like, we already have like so much money.
We could be like the dumb plan that Mystique proposed to Sabretooth and Lady Mystique or Lady Mastermind was that like, let's just steal it, like fuck all this human and mutant bullshit. Like I'm done with all of it. Let's just steal a shitload of money and go be rich somewhere for the rest of our lives. Like that's her whole plan that she presented to them. And as it's carrying out, basically Lady Mastermind is like, it seems like we could have done that. We've done that plan. Like we could have done
$1 trillion now. But she says that the Sabretooth on like a side, and then
Sabretooth immediately just tells Raven.
Just rats around. Hey Raven, Lady Mastermind here thinks you're being dishonest with us. She thinks we're stealing too much money. And then Lady Mastermind's like, thank you for keeping that between us.
Thanks a lot, Victor.
That was just the one little funny beat I thought of. I don't typically want to talk about what they're up to.
I do love how this comes up through a few issues, and Mystique's answer is always just like, no, I'm being perfectly honest. Why would you just trust me? And it's like, well, you're Mystique. Like
you're Mystique.
You're Mystique. That's I think you have a track record of not, But I love how her answer is just always like, no, I'm being totally honest.
Good,
being totally honest.
Anyway, Bobby D is so refreshing in this, by the way. Immediately he's just like, am I the only one that's upset that Warren totally bailed on us? And they're like, no. And he's like, all right. And he's like, he'll come back to us. And he's like, how do you know that, Hank? And he's like, well, he's our friend. You have to have faith. And he's like, by the way, did anybody know that Scott Hare has a brother? And he's like, I'm just saying we don't really know each other all that well that we thought we know. We think we know each other pretty well, but maybe we don't. I don't know.
He also there's something about the way Immonen draws his snow self that lends itself to it's like a weird
the black eyes are great
stand-up comic vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. He just has this kind
He's got a little bit of like X-Men 97 morph kind of vibe,
kind of, but it's
like just like playing around a little bit and like saying funny stuff when it's all serious. And
but it's also something about the visual just shouts like out down in his like stand-up comic. Just
it's great.
Anybody else notice this thing? It's just great. I like it. It's a good vibe. Okay, but issue 13.
Hold on a sec. Well, I'm in issue 13. Wolverine's talking. He's like, Jeannie, I want you to try something. And she's like, Jeannie?
Another
where we're going, we want to get in and out without anybody noticing that we're there. This plane can cloak, but when we put boots on the ground, I want you to use your psychic powers so no one's in the vicinity knows we're here. And she's like, I've never done that before. He's like, I know. And then she's like, I can do that? And then Wolverine's like, Professor Kitty. He's like, you focus. Don't call me that. You can create a picture in your head. And then Bobby just goes, I can make everyone cold. Just slow conversation about Jean's powers. And he's like, I can make people cold.
On top of that, I did like Kitty's beat where Wolverine goes, I know. And then Jean goes, can I do that? And then Wolverine goes, Professor Kitty. And then Kitty starts answering Jean. She goes, you focus. And then she goes, don't call me that. Wolverine. Like it was like she picked up that was like a fun little beat, I thought, from Kitty.
But that's good.
I just love the whole conversation, and then it's just Iceman at the end going like, I can make people cold. It's cold.
But that's also it's just good. It's just classic good Bendis dialogue. It's just
that's kind of what I was. We mentioned that earlier, but like there's just classic great Bendis dialogue.
The quips and the back and forth Bendis stuff is on point in this one.
So then we find out the Mystique
crime scene.
Yeah, Mystique wants to buy Madripoor from Hydra. That's why they've been stealing all the money. That's what the big plan.
And Madripoor is kind of like a Macau, Hong Kong, like.
Yeah, it's like an island.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like an island where like all the
Singapore, Macau, Hong Kong.
Like there's it's like lawless and like all the criminals go there to exchange their criminal goods with each other. It's just rife with everything bad.
Also,
it's the physical of the black market that we all learned about when we were in the 80s and watching television.
Yes, the black market. Yes,
the black market.
Exactly.
But they also, in addition to money,
market. Where is this black
have they
market?
also been stealing luxury cars? Because they're just leaning on this weird car here.
Yeah,
I think they just got that on their last gig.
With Dom, with the Fast and Furious gang, where they were with Dom and the family,
and they're family
stealing that car. Yeah.
I love that Mystique has a laptop open on the car that's listening to Alex's speech about the M word.
I like that giant piles of money that Heath Ledger Joker.
It's literally, I love how it's literally just piles of money. Like, we know for a fact they stole
some of it's stacked up, and the rest of it's just like, let's just throw it in a giant pile.
So
and then we get the reveal that they're going to buy Madripoor from Madam Hydra,
which I kind of like. That was a cool plan. Man, I liked it. That was a cool idea. So when she said
just to buy,
get a bunch of money and hide on an island, she meant like I'm going to buy my own island nation. You know?
Yeah, I kind of felt like
and run the criminal syndicates.
So what does it lead to Raven actually doing? Does she buy Madripoor and live there?
Well, she gets stopped. They stop her.
They stop her. But I think her plan most likely was to kind of do a whole like mutant, like new Genosha
on Madripoor, like do a Krakoa thing on Madripoor. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what maybe her plan was.
I did like another Bobby. Well, just another Bobby beat I loved is when they get to the warehouse and he sees Hydra and he says, well, they look like little green Nazis. And Wolverine says, well, yeah, that's what they are. He's just like, yes, they are. Like, that's literally what Hydra is green Nazis.
What's a mad shapusha? What's a shapupa?
My favorite Bobby line and it kind of reminded me of Bronze when in Exceptional X-Men when Emma Frost gives that whole spiel and then Bronze is like, did she say White Queen? And that was like the first thing that Emma said because they talk about Alex's speech about mutant being a derogatory word and like calling it the M word. And so Kitty gives her 2 cents and she gives this long speech about how she's Jewish and how she had a crush on a boy when she was 13 and he was anti-Semitic and said some really like terrible stuff about Jewish people. And then she finishes it off by saying, I am Jewish, I am a mutant, and I want people to know who I am and what I am. I tell people because, hey, if we're going to have a problem with it, I'd like to know. So no offense to your brother, Scott, but he sure as hell ain't talking for me. And then Bobby goes, you're Jewish?
Well, also, is this
after all of that?
Great.
But is this the first time were we aware that she's canonically Jewish? Was this when it was first revealed?
Yeah, I've known forever.
No,
we've known forever. Okay, I don't remember that from the Dark Phoenix. Did they mention that when they introduced her? Did they mention she was Jewish?
Maybe not at that point, but for as long as I've
that point, that was like right when she was created. So they might not have been like, hey, by the way, I don't think it like worked itself into the story, but I knew she was Jewish somehow
before this run, though.
Yeah, I definitely knew she was Jewish before this run, but they don't like make it a huge deal or like they don't talk about it a lot. But in the moments like this, it comes up, I suppose.
Gotcha.
Like it's not. Gotcha. It's not like frequent.
We did also skip over young Scott and Jean have sort of a bonding moment where she's saying like I screwed up. Because one thing we kind of glossed over. No, that hasn't happened yet. Never mind. But anyway, she was just saying I screwed up, and Scott said, "Look, you did screw up, but we're going to learn from it." So it's him being a leader, and also maybe hinting at what might be a relationship maybe later. Just kind of
maybe.
Yeah. Oh well, they're in a relationship currently, but
whatever. She's about to date Beast for an issue. So
no, I don't know if they are. I think there's.
I don't think they are right now.
I don't think they are.
They're kind of.
Well, it's flirtation. They're 15. There's flirtation. I mean, they're 15.
Yeah,
that's they're all they're like half an X gene and the rest is all hormone. At that age.
Anyway, the young X-Men, Wolverine and Kitty, bust in and fuck up Mystique's plan, and there's a big fight.
They sure do. They ruin everything. And then Lady Mastermind, Baby Mastermind, tricks Jean into thinking Papa Mastermind is there. We get a little Easter egg reference to Jason Wingard, the original Mastermind.
And she unleashes the Phoenix. And so my favorite part about this last issue is Wolverine just immediately is like, all right, well, let's kill Jean.
He immediately flips the switch to like, we got to kill her. We got to get rid of her.
I really also, I mean, the cover, I really like the Alphonse.
I was going to say the cover art is incredible. Love this cover art of Jason Wingard Mastermind holding baby Jean. Is great. Who did the cover? Who did the
Immonen?
Did Immonen do the cover?
Yeah, he drew all the covers.
No, it says Vaughn. Oh, it says Immonen. Yeah, he did do it.
Yeah, it's Immonen.
He did do the cover.
Yeah.
No, but this is it's just a beautiful. It's a great cover. Great cover.
Yeah, like I said, it's like it's an Alphonse Mucha kind of thing, and it's really cool. I like it a lot.
Well, it's also like we talked about when we did Astonishing X-Men. All our favorite covers were people holding other people, like whether it was Colossus.
Yeah, I
holding
like a
Kitty,
still cover.
or
Everyone's.
Emma
I mean, I
with
love
her
an action
hands
cover.
over Cyclops, but this is also a cool like Wingard holding Baby Jean.
There's
Look, it's
I
great.
mean, the cover of, I mean, I'll throw it back up, but like the cover of Havok versus Cyclops is a really good cover, but it's just, you know, it's classic mutant or like, you know, action scene cover. This is just a refreshing like break of pace kind of image. I liked it.
But right,
again, I'm not going down this road again. I'm gonna gut you. And then she's like, "Whoa, Logan, hold on!" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I thought this was real." Like it's just like, what the fuck, man?
Well, Jean was
so
only
it turns out Jean was only projecting, like she was faking the Phoenix taking
she was
over
because she could tell that they're all scared of, terrified of it. So and she was like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, I'm not that great with my powers. You guys weren't supposed to see that. You were just supposed to. They were just supposed to see that."
Yeah,
kind of thing, which I thought was kind of fun.
But yeah,
then at the same time, the very end,
like,
she's
everybody
like,
get out of the room. I've got to murder her. Everybody move.
Yeah,
I've got to kill her.
just right away.
But then he ruins it because Jean's immediately like, well, shit, dude, not cool. You just destroyed.
Yeah, but the X-Men have the upper hand, and then so Professor X shows up from the past. But I thought this was the art beat was funny because even Mystique is confused. She's like, Professor X is here, and then she looks over at Regan, and Regan's like, bitch, no, it's like, fucking illusion.
You dumb bitch. You dumb
We got
bitch.
seconds to get out of here.
Look at her little, Regan's post here is just like, well, no, obviously it's an illusion.
You stupid.
But to Mystique's credit, she also goes from 0 to 60. Like, okay, I'll shoot Wolverine.
Yeah,
like just
shoot Wolverine in the chest.
I'll
Got
just
it.
Shoot.
No hesitation.
Do you think it's intentional that she shot the one who can regenerate? Like, was that, you think she meant to do that? Or
Mystique doesn't I don't think Mystique wants to kill. Like, honestly, I think if her plan is to get Madripoor and probably make it like a little mutant utopia with all her jillions of dollars, she probably wanted to involve the young X-Men to just be like, hey, you guys should come hang out with it. Like, she probably brought them all in through this dumb machination so she could, you know, have them close by and kind of get them on, you know, to join her.
Yeah. And a cool young Cyclops beat I liked in this fight is, so he's squaring off against Silver Samurai, who's Hydra's bodyguard, and Beast is fighting Sabretooth because why not have the two large feral people fight each other? But Cyclops is having trouble, and so he calls out and says, Hank, switch, as like why don't we, instead of fighting similar people, like let's just switch to where we can use strengths, like rock, paper, scissors. So that was the cool little growing into being a leader moment for Cyclops to be like, tactically, bail me out here, because I'm not doing well against the Silver Samurai.
One of my favorite beats is when like Sabretooth gets nailed and he's like, oh my back, ow, ow. And like Wolverine's like, what the fuck? He doesn't like whine like that. And then Jean's like, oh yeah, it's just me. That's me. Sorry. Yeah. Kind of thing. That's like, so she's just making like Sabretooth into a little whiny bitch to like beat him, which I thought was like what a fun way to defeat Sabretooth. It's just like he gets hurt and he's like, oh my back, shit. You know, like kind of so funny.
Well, another Jean thing is they
really
end up defeating
like
everybody because she just puts everyone to sleep, and it's like that could just be every arc. Is you putting everybody to sleep.
I think that's kind of like the hints of like what's going on with Jean right now is the fact of like of her powers and her growing into her powers without fucking Professor X fucking everything up. Yeah,
for sure. But it's kind of like in JLA when we talked about how when Aquaman can control people's blood, and you're sort of like, whoa, okay, you could just do that all the time. But I had a similar moment here of like, okay, well, that could just be the resolution to everything. It's just put people to sleep. But I get to your point, Joe. I think it is very much just focusing on how much Professor X was manipulating and stunting her being.
So the Avengers show up. They don't really show up.
But they don't really, but then they do. But then they do. But then they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which leads to another great. So they show up.
Another great Bobby
Mastermind.
Yeah.
Another big one. So Lady Mastermind summons the Avengers as an illusion, tries to get away, doesn't get away, but then the actual Avengers show up.
Yeah.
And
Bobby throws a snowball at Thor.
Captain America's mid-sentence, and you just see a snowball smack Thor in the face. It's like, oh, it really is them.
Oh, it is them.
Yeah, and Kitty
like,
says,
Kitty's like,
Kitty
oh, yeah.
says, we just said that. Yeah, like I just told you that. Oh.
We both did.
Oh, Mr. Thor, sir,
Mr. Thor is the
sorry.
best, by the way, too. Oh, Mr. Thor. Yeah, I don't like Bobby as a snowman is so much more fun. Like, what I don't know what it is about Iceman later, like especially in this current run, modern Iceman. I'm just like, oh, you're so boring. Like
Terrible.
Young Iceman is so fun. Old Iceman is so boring. Which is not how I feel about Cyclops. Cyclops, I'm like, I love both versions. It's so fun seeing them together. Like, Iceman is the complete opposite of that. I'm like, I love young Iceman. I can't stand old Iceman.
Well, we touched on this when we did the Exceptional X-Men, but it's just as a seminal original X-Men with pretty impressive powers. It's just his character arc is weird. It doesn't feel like he's really lived up to what he should have been.
It's just like he's all over the place, and every writer kind of handles him differently.
Yeah. But he can freeze the world and have all.
I mean, he can make everyone cold.
And it just he can make everybody cold. He's said that.
Cold.
But it seems like he's been sort of underused with what he could have been throughout X-Men history. I don't know. Yeah.
I think it was like a weird. I think they should have. I don't know, and I don't know if it's because Bendis writing him, but he comes off very much like Spider-Man, younger Bobby.
Mm-hmm. He's pretty much a Spider-Man proxy here. Yeah.
During the Krakoa stuff, they really elevated him to being like one of the most powerful mutants, like almost like he's immortal and can't die, and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And they tried to make him a main character, and he just didn't. He didn't retain that youthful funny banter. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they really tried to make him more central to the story, and it just didn't work.
Him and Firestar are friends with Spider-Man, so it makes sense that he's Spider-Man type.
Yeah, but I think he's just an interesting character where it just feels like the idea of him should have been more prominent in Marvel history than what he's become. Especially if you think of the Human Torch and Namor and those elemental powers and how central they are to Marvel history.
He's often just not underused with writers. Like they just kind of have him there, and he's on the team, but he's off to the side or something. Or they try too hard to make him cool, and you're just like, this isn't. I don't like it. Just make. Him...
I mean, we talked about an exceptional. He's like an exceptional X-Men. He's the gay best friend, on Sex and the City. He's like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's got an emptiness to it. It doesn't.
Yeah. And if you look at the original Kirby X-Men team, for example, Angel, you can kind of see. Well, I get it. How as mutants have evolved and their place in Marvel Comics have evolved, Angel doesn't really have an amazing place as an influential mutant team member. I kind of get that. But Iceman is sort of, I don't know, he's real elemental, strong. You'd think he'd be more central throughout X-Men history, and he just isn't. He's, after the original team, he's just off to the side for a long time. And and I don't know, that part is strange. But we get an awkward high five between Havok and Cyclops.
Anyway, Summers Brothers high five.
Yeah.
Do we do that, or is that something we do? No.
And we also get... props to the Queen, but what a dramatic feint from Mystique there. Just on the ground.
Also, I know I don't think this costume lives very long, but I'm not a fan of Havok's head covering.
No.
Yeah. I don't want the giant rings back. I'm not an 80s main where you gotta have that old crazy thing with the rings going around his head. That's also stupid. But for some reason, I'm just just give him a black mask. Why does he have a little red gem in the top of his forehead? He doesn't need that. What is any of this? Just give him a black costume with the fucking rings on his chest. It's fine, or what? I don't know.
This costume feels very
it's trying too hard
to me. Well, it seems very Black Bolt to me.
Oh yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I'm also not a fan of 90s Havok where he had the giant coat and the giant the starter jacket.
Yeah.
I don't know. Havok is another guy that I don't think they've ever really figured out in an amazing way.
Yeah, agreed.
Whether it's how to dress him or how to use him.
This is
feel like
kind
we've
of
never
an
quite-
interesting way of using him in this, like, I'm gonna make the Avengers like a mutant human team kind of idea. I like the idea of it. I don't know if it's executed super well, but
One
I also
version of
wasn't reading
Havok
the
I
Avengers
don't.
around this time, so I don't know. Maybe they
One
did a good
version of
job.
Havok I don't like is when he has to physically shake his body like a hula hoop to shoot his
Yeah.
energy out.
God, that was
That's
so
one.
bad. Why did they
X-Men
do
First
that?
Class, not a great Havok version.
Why did they do that? Oh my god. What about if he did this? What about if Flash like flopped his arms around and that's how we did the super? Like, that's how stupid that was. You're just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Just
But he legit
make him
shook
like
his
rage
body
out
and
like
shot out
fucking
hula
Dragon
hoops.
Ball Z and shoot a beam out of his chest.
Yeah.
Patrick, you're doing it pretty good.
That's how he did, and then he
You
would
got the
shoot
Havok
out
dance
hula
down.
hoops. He would do that and shoot out. It's just crazy.
For those of you that are listening to this as a podcast and not on YouTube, Patrick's doing an amazing impression of Havok shooting fucking beams.
Yeah. And then this, but
It's
issue
so
14, issue 14 ends with Mystique surprised escaping from prison right away. But also we get Jean Grey on a basketball court, not playing basketball.
Also, she was wearing her costume in jail. Sorry, Jean Grey on a basketball court. Yeah, Jean Grey on a basketball court in the end of this. I guess the implication is that she's like, that was an illusion, but I am also sort of worried about the Phoenix Force inside of me, you know, kind of thing.
So for Mystique, though, we definitively can't say whether she was wearing her costume in jail.
Yeah, we don't know.
Because she could have
True.
shape-shifted her costume onto herself as she escaped, right? It's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean she had that costume on her.
True.
No.
So you've got to keep that under consideration.
Also, like, she can turn real small if she wants to, right? Like, to get out of that jail cell.
She's a little tiny.
No.
Yes, she can. She can grow like a dinosaur. Her mass doesn't change, but she can shrink and she can grow. But she can't change like how much she weighs. But like she can.
She can?
She can definitely shapeshift into like Sabretooth, so she can definitely increase and decrease her mass. I'm not sure what the limits are.
Sabretooth is smaller than you think. In a lot of comic panels, he's standing on an apple box to look taller.
Yeah,
He's
he does
smaller
do that.
than you think, Patrick. Yeah, he's
it's out of the
large.
shot. It's out of the shot, but like he's
Tom Cruise
and he
height.
wears lifts a lot in a lot of the scenes. You can see it in some of the scenes in the Madripoor like exchange.
Yeah, but he's 5'6". He's Tom Cruise height. He's actually not very
He's
tall.
got a couple blocks of money stacked under his feet in some of those shots.
Yeah. But that's the end of the run we did. I mean, we're kind of at the end.
Yeah, it's been all new X-Men, boys. What do you
Before because I'm sorry, but I'm having audio. We need to take a break because I'm having audio issues. I keep hearing this weird jingle on my right earbud that goes something like, "Does this
pass the Bechdel test? The Bechdel test. The Bechdel test. Does this pass the Bechdel test? The answer is probably no.
This passes.
It passes.
100%.
Thank you,
Knocked
BMB,
it out of the
the
park.
notorious BMB. You passed. You passed.
And not
we can
only
move on.
does it pass, but I would almost give this like, I mean, because there's been a few times that Patrick and I have been like, it passes because of technicality, because of these reasons, and you're like, fuck you guys.
No, this full on legit. There's a full scene.
It doesn't.
Of, like, Kitty and
I would
Jean
say
Grey
what I was going to
talking.
say is I feel like it passes with flying colors, because they not only do Kitty and Jean have a very like a conversation just between the two of them, which would in and of itself make it pass, but it's a very long conversation about like who they are as humans and how they are interacting with each other, and like, you know, I don't know. It's not just
it
like
is a full scene. It is a full scene. Like this is the Bechdel test.
They give it time and room to breathe. Is my point, though. It's not just like a quick scene where moving on. Anyway, like it was like a very long scene of them discussing, you know, how they feel.
Yeah.
Their powers,
no, this passes.
what Jean's doing,
Passes
their
the
relationship
Bechdel
with
test.
each other. Yeah, and it's good.
Yeah, it was very good.
We did it. Yeah. So good job, BMB.
So I did read all the way up to issue 19. I got pretty far. I don't know how much more. There is a good chunk left of this volume I got. So I read this in digital, 2 volumes, volume 1 and 2, because 9 and 10 were in the first volume. So I read most of volume 1, and 9 and 10 ended the volume. And then so 11, 12, 13, 14 were just the beginning of this second volume. And I got pretty far. I didn't realize I read that far. So I'm looking up, but
yeah, it's a pretty good arc. There's a crossover event embedded called Children or Battle of the Atom. Didn't love that as much, but
yeah, I think this is kind of. I don't remember reading this bit that we just read, but I think I did originally go past the first 5 or 6 issues because, like, I think it's around the time that they get their modern day costumes as young X-Men. That I was kind of like, okay, the novelty of this is wearing off for me, and I'm kind of like, I'm gonna drop this book in lieu of, I don't know, Batman or whatever I was currently reading. But yeah.
Well, I haven't. So I didn't read this arc a lot past it, but I recently signed up for both Marvel Unlimited and the DC Universe, and I've just been going wild. I've been reading Ultimate Spider-Man more. All the absolutes in DC. It's honestly for whatever, because I got it on sale for, like, if you buy the year, it's like $5 a month, and I've been pretty happy.
I know. And Patty, you have both of those too, right?
Yeah, I've had them for years. Just like
the Marvel. I'll say I like the Marvel one better because you get earlier access to comics than with the DC version.
Okay.
Well,
so I do. I mean, and you guys know this, like, and this is an aside, podcast listeners. We'll probably cut all this conversation, but like, I get the Comixology Unlimited, which is $4.99 a month or whatever. But the reason I like it and I'm still like sticking with it is because it's like, it's not just Marvel and DC. I get, like, when we read Paper Girls, like, I got like volumes 1 through 4 of that like for free, and I only had to buy like one of them or whatever to like read it or what, that kind of thing. Like, I don't know. It just helps in terms of our show. It helps me being able to like jump and grab other stuff that's not just Marvel or DC. But I obviously I largely use it for Marvel and DC because like that's what I read most of the time. But it's. Aside from the fact that it's Bezos and I'm fucking going through Amazon, and when they acquired Comixology, they ruined it. But other than that, like, it's still, if you know how to navigate your fucking way through it, it's not bad.
The navigation is difficult. I will say
it's not easy. You have to try to find the unlimited.
Confusing
comics.
As fuck. Like Marvel's app is the best. DC's is okay, but like Marvel's is way more user friendly.
Marvel's, I agree. It's great.
DC's is okay. The one thing about DC is you can do it like you can log in on like a web browser, where Marvel you can't do that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I usually, I mean, that's what I have an iPad for, so I don't mind. But Marvel is good. Okay, but all right. I think anything else before we do the final opinions and wrap-ups, anything else you want to touch on from that last issue or anything about All New X-Men, or can we just head to...
No, I think we're in recommendations.
Okay. Recommendations. I'll start. In a binary yes or no, I think I would recommend it because I think it's pretty good X-Men fare. You get a good breadth of like all the important
Honestly,
X-Men
wasn't not
characters.
expecting you to say that.
Well, I mean, it wasn't personally for me because I'm past this kind of shit, but just generally, I think it's got a big cast. It's in the mainstream Marvel U. It's in touch with that as a bridge to Krakoa. I think it kind of works. I would, I'd still sort of, if anybody said like, hey, I'm looking for X-Men stuff, like, I think this is good. You get a good cast of characters, a good width, like you get a good breadth of all the available mutants, some Avengers here and there. Like, it's a good kind of mainstream X-Men run. I'd recommend it.
I also recommend it. I mean, kind of the same take you just had. It's not like, it's just fun. It's Bendis. It's a lot of fun. The young X-Men are fun. It's just fun. These issues really aren't that long. They're like 20 to 17 pages, I think, a lot of them. So you can kind of shred through it pretty quickly. The art's really, just smooth and good. And is it the greatest book I've ever read? No, but I think I binged like this and this Uncanny run probably like in 1 week. So I could probably revisit this, and because I've probably forgotten most of it, but easy read. I think especially for like new X-Men people like that haven't really read much X-Men. Like I think you get a lot of good background organically introduced into it, and
Yeah, you kind of get the young X-Men from back in the day mixed with new stuff. That's an interesting take. I haven't thought of
solid
that.
art and solid writing. I would definitely recommend. I would say it's definitely in the top 4 X-Men runs for me.
Okay.
I finished my tattoo, you guys.
Oh no!
Oh, let's check it out.
Let us see. Let us see. Oh,
that looks badass. Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
that looks cool.
You know, I was gonna say the X visor on Cyclops, like he doesn't touch his, does he? I didn't see him like really touching the side of his.
I don't think he does.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think it just kind of. I don't know.
My only question
is like built into his glove, like he types it, like because that's the thing they used to make up back in the day.
Would do that, yeah.
My only question is, do you regret not having him do this?
No.
With his hand.
I don't mind his hands up.
Be a little redundant if it was like X and then X and then there's another X and it says man underneath. Awesome tattoo, Betty. I also recommend it. It's super fun read. I like the novelty of having the young X-Men in the current day with the current X-Men. It's such a fun idea that in and of itself is worth a read. I don't know how, again, I didn't read too far into this, and I don't know how much further I would care to like keep reading about the young X-Men in the present day, but like I also don't even know when they go back in time. I know they do it eventually, but I feel like I feel like when they do it, you're like, yeah, you should have done that a while ago. Probably. So like I'm sure it wears off at some point, but like in this section that we read and like leading up to this, like 1 through 9 or 1 through 8 or whatever, and a little bit after this is so fun and interesting, and I liked it. It was good. Great art. I was gonna say Salvador LaRocca. He drew some of the covers, I think, but Stuart and Immonen did a great job. Bendis did a great job. You know, solid run. Very fun. Stuff. And if you ever need to go anywhere, just ask Magic. She'll take you.
Don't.
Or make you a new costume.
Don't
for no
do
reason.
it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Only if it's important.
Anyway,
right, I think we're done.
It's a good book. Yeah, I think we won. I think we won comics for the week, boys.
Comics. Good journey, Couchers. See you next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.